I made redacted amount of money that you will hear later in the video. Make ASMR videos that you want to watch yourself. $2,798 this year. The biggest key to success, in my opinion, is the acoustics of your video. The equipment that you use to make your videos is important, but it's actually not quite as important as some people think it is. Hang on, I'm actually going to take some notes because that was a really good point that I just brought up. If you put mid-roll ads in your videos, do not even bother showing up for the final exam, okay? Hello class, and welcome to ASMR Community College. I am your professor, Dr. Rhythmic. Even though I don't have a doctor degree, I play one on the internet. But as I'm sure you are aware, or maybe not if you actually touch grass a little bit, but Streamer University has been going on, and although I have done several live streams before, two to be exact, I was not invited to be a teacher, or a student for that matter, but I'm actually very happy that it ended up this way because community college is focused on learning rather than clip farming, or whatever's going on at Streamer University, like throwing mustard and ketchup in people's faces. I don't really know what's going on there, but today you are going to learn a lot about ASMR and about creating content in general, and maybe you might learn a little bit about yourself and what you want to do with your life potentially, but if not, you can just relax to this virtual learning video, this virtual college, community college learning tutorial video, whatever it is. I have 7 lessons set up for us today, including 2 miniature lessons that include how much money I make from ASMR, as well as the proper way to enjoy listening to ASMR. That will actually be our first lesson. It will be very important for the other lessons to know how to listen to ASMR properly, so without further ado, let's jump into our first segment. Can I get a show of hands of who listens to ASMR with headphones? I'm putting my hand up because I most definitely listen to ASMR with headphones on. Okay, very good. It seems like most of the class is raising their hand, but there are a few of you that I notice that do not listen with headphones. Can you explain yourself a little bit? Right, it is not convenient to wear headphones sometimes. Sometimes you're just scrolling on shorts and you want to just watch and not have to go find a pair of headphones to listen properly. That is an understandable reason. So that goes to show that, especially in today's day and age, you don't need to create ASMR that is specifically targeted to headphone users, even though that is the type of ASMR that I like to create. Alright, now raise your hand if you watch more long-form ASMR videos than short-form ASMR videos. I will raise my hand for this as well. But I'll look around to see that. Okay, we've got a little bit fewer hands up. That goes to show that a lot more people are watching short these days, even though long-form videos do bring in the most money, and I will get into the financials of ASMR later in this lesson, but first I just have to say that short-form content is king. Now, if I asked that question this is great because the cord, I can't show you because it's plugged in, but it is a USB that you can get an adapter for and plug it directly into your phone. Now, if you want to have some sort of professional quality to your videos, then you're going to have to buy one of these. This is an audio interface, and it will run you about $200, I would say. And then you're going to need some cables, so that's going to be like an extra $50. And then, of course, you're going to need a mic stand, so another $100 to $200. And then, of course, you're going to need some microphones, so that's going to be another $200 to $500 per microphone. Maybe if you want to get really good microphones, it'll be like $1,000 per microphone. So that's all to say, it can add up and get extremely expensive. And I haven't even thought about the camera. You're gonna need a camera, but you can use a phone. You probably already have a camera on whatever device that you use as your phone, so that could work. But it is relatively expensive to get. It is extremely expensive to get good microphones, and plus, once you actually get one of these things and upgrade your audio quality, it becomes even more difficult to edit it because you have to uphold a high standard. But of course, you know that. And then the most expensive part, I almost forgot, you are going to need to pay an endless subscription, an absolutely endless subscription to Adobe, unless you want to use like a lower quality editing program. But so that's basically all to say, if you are doing anything relatively creative at all, you are going to have to pay a $50 a month subscription to Adobe. And that's just the way the world works, alright? I didn't create this capitalistic society, but if you want to thrive in it, I guess you gotta pay the subscription. I don't know, maybe. While we're on the topic of finances, I will actually show you how much money I earned during the month of June, as well as my expenses. In the month of June, I made $3,528. Now that is mainly from just regular YouTube AdSense, and I think like $100 or $150 came from channel memberships. So thank you to my channel members. It's only, I think, like $1.50 or something like that. And you get early access to my videos as well as exclusive videos. Definitely worth it. And one other thing I should note about that sum, I do not put mid-roll ads on my videos. Not once have I ever clicked that check box that says put mid-roll ads in my videos. If you want to make more money, then, obviously it seems like it'd be a good idea to click play mid-roll ads in your videos, but in ASMR specifically, I just can't even imagine clicking on play a mid-roll ad in an ASMR video. I'm not saying that other creators don't care about their audience. I'm not saying that other creators treat them like their cash cow. And I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that ASMR creators that actively choose to put mid-roll ads don't care about the well-being or the mental health of their audience, but I am saying that I think even though it makes less money for ASMR specifically, not putting a mid-roll ad is just common sense. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just a community college professor. I don't know what I'm talking about, but watching an ASMR video and having an ad pop up, like, if anyone's ever experienced that, I don't know why they would do that on their own videos. And I haven't mentioned this before because they got rid of the option of being able to select that for a second, but they gave it back. But for as long as I am able to, I will not put mid-roll ads on my videos until I'm ready to treat you like a cash cow. So you will know when that is. Okay, now the money that I made from sponsorships. Bigger creators, their sponsorship total is definitely more than their YouTube ad revenue, but I am still small enough to where I don't get that much sponsors. This is actually the most sponsorship money I've made in a month ever, and it is $1,498. Most of that came from an integration that I did in a video, but like $130 This is also the most money that I've ever made in a month from TikTok. So guess how much I made on TikTok this month? I made $1,150 on TikTok. Now that is an extreme outlier because I'm pretty sure for the month of July I am only going to make like $50. I'm gonna make less than $100 easily from TikTok in July. It is just whatever the algorithm chooses. Sometimes the algorithm is like, wow, you deserve to make a lot of money because you post good videos. And then sometimes the algorithm is like, wow, this video got 2.5 million views. Let's pay you $5 for it. Which at that point, just say it's ineligible for monetization. It's so disrespectful for a video to organically go viral, relatively, and to then be like, yeah, you can get like $5 from this. So TikTok is very, 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 very inconsistent, to say the least. And that brings us to our final source of income, Spotify revenue. How much money do you think I made on Spotify? You know, considering the fact that my ASMR is audio focused, it should, translate relatively well to Spotify. And it does, but, it doesn't translate on Spotify. Paying artists what they're worth. So during the month of June, I made $44 on Spotify. $44. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. So in total, in the month of June, I made $6,220, which is the most money I have ever earned in a single month. I would say on YouTube, but this is multiple income sources. I'm trying to think, that might be the most money I've made in a single month ever, because I did have a real job for a little bit. I had a real job for a little bit. And this, if I made that every month, or it's just for the specific month, so I'm just trying to do the math. This is actually the most money I've ever made in a single month, like out of any of my jobs that I had. I had a real job. I had 2 real jobs. I had 3 real jobs, actually, believe it or not. But that's actually crazy. I have been doing this for 3 years. like travel stuff a little bit. So I would highly recommend, if you're serious about something, spend the extra money to get the good equipment, or spend the extra money to do something very unique that you don't see other people doing. So now that we know that there is a financial incentive to create ASMR, even for a scrub like me, let's find out what some of the keys to success are. The biggest key to success, in my opinion, is the acoustics of your video. So how do you get good acoustics? Well, first of all, it would help to have quiet neighbors, which is very difficult. So you might want to learn your neighbor's routine. You might want to find out what time they leave the house. You might want to know what time they get back from work. And if you have an upstairs neighbor, then I regret to inform you that your time making ASMR will be incredibly stressful, because that is how it was for me during my first year making ASMR. There was a family with 2 little kids that ran around upstairs in the apartment above me for the first year that I made ASMR, and it was incredibly frustrating because every single morning, I guess it was the summer, like they didn't have school or whatever, but they would just run around the house making so much noise. Now I will give you the keys to success, and this isn't just for ASMR. These will help you succeed at whatever you want to do. Key to success number 1 is consistency. This is the most important one by far. You have to be consistent. The algorithm likes consistency. Your audience will like consistency. And it's just the best way to grow your social media or your whatever you're trying to grow. Or like I said, if you're just, trying to get good at something, be consistent about it. That means create an upload schedule and stick to it. So even if it is just 1 day a week, or perhaps 1 video every 2 weeks, Lesson number 5. What videos should you make? This one is actually very easy. Make a video that you can make better than anybody else, or at the very least, make a video that plays to your strengths. So if you are a good editor, lean into that. If you like roleplay ASMR and you like characters and dressing up or whatever, do something like that. If you like really intense on your ear ASMR, then go for that. Really just, like I said, try to make a video that you yourself, if you watched it, you would be like, oh my gosh, this video was made for me. And ASMR can literally be anything. You can play your favorite video game while whispering up close to a microphone. Or you can, make whisper videos about cars, about TV shows, about whatever you want. Just make sure it makes you happy and that you would want to watch it yourself. Hang on, I'm actually gonna take some notes because that was a really good point that I just brought up and I want to make sure that I remember that. And make sure that you're writing down some notes as well. I'm really giving you some extremely important and valuable information that you can't find anywhere else. I actually combined these two lessons together. They are community and monetization, which go hand in hand because your community is what you are monetizing, which is crazy because, your community should be like a community, but I guess it is like a church community is a monetized community, so it's not that weird, I guess. That's just the way the world works. So really, it is up to you to determine if you want your community to be like your own personal friend group that you can, talk to and share everything with, or are they going to be your cash cow, your community that you milk for every single penny by placing mid-roll ads all over your videos? Don't do that, but it's up to you. If you want them to be your cash cow, they can be your cash cow, but there's a healthy in-between. I would say there's definitely a healthy in-between. One thing that is actually very important that you do with your community is to establish boundaries on what you want to share with them. So for me personally, I don't share my real name, and I don't share a lot of stuff, but now and then, especially in my members-only videos, I get more personal and share stuff about my real life and stuff like that, but make sure that you have set boundaries, because if you decide to stop making ASMR, but you told your community everything about you, like where you live or, where you work, then it's going to be a lot harder to kind of, leave it behind. Not that I'm going to leave it behind or anything, I'm just saying it's nice to not have your full legal name on stuff so people can't, easily find out who you are. Not like I even care that much, I just feel like it shouldn't be an obligation for people to know your real name just so they can relax and do ASMR. But for me personally, I love watching personal ramble videos, so it's whatever works for you. If you want a really personal ASMR channel, then go for it. I really like those. I will end the lesson by asking you a very important question, and this is a question that you might want to ask yourself before you do anything, and that is, why are you doing this? Specifically for ASMR, the question is, are you doing it for money, or are you doing it for clout, or are you doing it just because you enjoy it? That will determine everything. If you're making an ASMR channel as a business, then you're going to put mid-roll ads in your video, and I guess that's just the way it is. But if something